Let's take a look at 5.2, example 6, and we're going to rationalize a binomial denominator. Now remember, whenever you rationalize a denominator, you're getting rid of a radical. We don't ever want a radical in the denominator. So what you're going to do here, if you have a binomial, you're going to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So remember, all you got to do is you take the same numbers here and change whatever sign it is. So let's take a look at this one. We have 1 over 2 plus the square root of 3. So I'm going to multiply that by 2 minus the square root of 3 all over 2 minus the square root of 3. So if I distribute 1 times 2 minus the square, it's the same thing. 2 minus the square root 3. Now in my denominator, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times a negative square root of 3 is a negative times the square root of 3. Extend this out. Square root of 3 times 2 is positive 2 times the square root of 3. And now positive square root of 3 times a negative square root of 3, well, that's going to be just a negative 3. And now let's just clean this up. In my numerator, 2 minus the square root of 3 all over. Notice how your middle terms cancel out? These are going to drop out, and now I'm left with 2 integers. 4 minus 3 is just 1. So I really don't even need to put that 1 in there. But there it is for the sake of following the process. So my final answer is 2 minus the square root of 3. Whenever you're multiplying by the conjugate, your radicals should disappear. If they don't, you've probably done a little computation error incorrectly somewhere. Let's take a look at your try it. My conjugate is going to be 2 plus the square root of 3 all over 2 plus the square root of 3. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times the square root of 3 is 5 times the square root of 3. Negative square root of 2 times a positive 2 minus 2 times the square root of 2. Negative square root of 2 times a positive square root of 3. Indexes are the same, so I can multiply my radicands. 2 times 3 is 6. Let's do the denominator. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times the square root of 3 is 2 times the square root of 3. Negative square root of 3 times 2 minus 2 times the square root of 3. Again, see how your middle terms are going to cancel out? Negative square root of 3 times the positive square root of 3. It's going to be negative 3. And now let's just clean this up. I cannot combine these, so I'm going to leave them there. Negative square root of 6, I can not simplify that, minus the square root of 6. And now in your denominator, again, notice your middle terms cancel out. 4 minus 3 is 1.